Hello, Michael Swain here after Kansas basketball's 92-89 win over North Carolina here inside of Allen Fieldhouse, and that was a great basketball game. What a way to start the season. I know KU played on Monday to officially start the season, but this really felt like the tip-off for the season for KU, and what an incredible game and what a great atmosphere here inside of Allen Fieldhouse. You really got to see all of the renovations that have been done and everything kind of come together. New video intro for the kind of in between the lineups when the visitors go, when KU goes. We got that video up on the YouTube channel you can check out. But overall, a great basketball game. And for KU, I think a lot of positives and a lot of stuff that KU can learn from as well in this one. And we can start from the beginning because that's, I think, where a lot of the positives came from. KU came out, it was an even start, but then, about after the first media timeout, Zeke Mayo entered the game and things really did change for KU. I think you saw the shot creation, the offense, really what this KU team can look like this year. And that part of it is super encouraging. Someone like Hunter Dickinson picks up his second foul and Flory Badunga comes in the game. And, over the course of, he ended up playing a little bit less in the second half, but I think it was like 13 minutes, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Like, he really produced in those minutes. That's super encouraging. You look at someone like AJ Storr coming off the bench and really looking like the player that I think a lot of people thought Kansas was going to get. That's a huge positive. And overall, you look at the first half and you saw, I think, what the ceiling for this year's team could look like. And it starts with the ability to create shots and not have everything be on DeJuan Harris or Hunter Dickinson or KJ Adams. KJ had a good first half. He got hurt, didn't look as good in the second half. Bill Self said he twisted his ankle. But overall, right, things were clicking in the first half, and North Carolina was struggling, right? KU was able to limit some of their shots. Carolina was able to get to the rim, and that's something we'll talk about in the second half. But generally, it was a strong first half from KU. What changed in the second half? Well, those shots started to not fall for KU, right? Zeke Mayo, I think, went 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 to start the game, and you look at the end, he's 3 of 9. Misses a bunch in the second half. That's going to happen, right? Some of those were open looks, and KU as a team is going to shoot a lot of three-pointers this year, and there are going to be games when Zeke goes 3 of 9, and there'll be games where he goes 5 of 9, and that could be a big difference in making this, a 10-point game. So you get to the second half, shots don't fall. KU defensively looked all over the place, and you look at what North Carolina has at the guard position. R.J. Davis, great player. Trimble, great player. They really put some pressure on KU's guards. And I think generally right now you're seeing a team that is still learning how to play together. You saw that in the second half offensively when the shots stopped falling and KU tried to get into some more sets, it didn't always look super crisp. And then you look defensively when KU needs to guard in the half court because they're missing shots on the other end and Carolina's able to bring the ball up quicker. KU has to guard in semi-transition, get set. Things didn't look as good. And so generally you're seeing a bunch of guys, whether it be David Coit, Zeke Mayo, AJ Storr, you name it, they're having to learn how to play in this defensive scheme with Hunter Dickinson. And it's different. Not everyone guards ball screens the way that Kansas does. And so as a result, it creates a situation where there are miscommunications and guys aren't in the right spots and ends up with open shots, open driving lanes. And when you're playing a team like North Carolina that is as talented as it is, that's really hard to overcome consistently. And it felt like one or too many times tonight, KU was in those spots. So that's something that will change over time, right? Zeke Mayo will know where to stand. AJ Storr will know where to stand. These guys will be in the right spots, and Riley Griffin too. They'll get there. But for tonight, I think you saw some of those deficiencies with Hunter Dickinson at center. And look, Hunter didn't have the best game. He was admitted at postgame. He's still trying to get back into shape after missing time with the foot injury. He's someone that's never going to be a Udoka Azubuike in the center, right? He's not going to be a guy that shuts down the paint for the other team. He just can't be a sieve. And it felt like tonight there were some stretches where it felt closer to a sieve than someone that's just kind of holding their own. So it's okay. He will get better as the season goes on. He gets his feet under him, and he will be protected better as the season goes on. And some of his teammates are able to not put him in this position where he's got North Carolina guards sprinting at him downhill all game. And not everyone's going to have North Carolina's guards either. Like, this is an incredibly talented backcourt and really trio of guards for North Carolina. So there's some quick thoughts on the game. Look, I think one of the positives from this game is A.J. Storr. He is someone that, if you've been on the VIP board, we've been talking about it, feels like nonstop, right? He is someone that has the keys to this team, and not in sort of like running the team, but there are going to be certain situations this year where Kansas needs someone with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, 7 seconds left on the shot clock to go out and get a basket. And AJ is the guy that can do that. And he's going to be someone that over the course of the year should develop into a more well-rounded player, but should always be able to do that. And Self talked about it over the summer, right? He's a guy that at the end of the shot clock, he can go make tough shots. And you saw some of that tonight. I think it was in the first half. You know, he gets the ball with 7 seconds left. It would have been the far side wing if you're watching it on TV. And he just goes baseline, finishes at the rim. Like, KU could have used that last year. And those types of shots are going to be so vital for KU getting in a Big 12 play and getting in situations where there's going to be times when KU is going to try and run set offenses. They're not going to be able to execute. And then at the end, they're going to need someone to go and get a shot. And A.J. Storr is going to be the guy for that. And the fact that tonight he looked a lot more comfortable in those situations is super encouraging. Now, he's got to get better rebounding, right? I think it's, 2 rebounds today? Yeah, 2 rebounds. That's not going to fly with Self. But the fact that offensively, as the lights turned on tonight here, and KU needed a big-time player to step up at times, he was there. And that's super encouraging because it hadn't looked like that so far. You go back to Arkansas, it didn't look like that. You go back to Washburn, it didn't look like that. You go back to Howard, it didn't really look like that. And so the fact that you started to see that light flicker on, really encouraging. Obviously, Zeke Mayo, like, folks, he's going to do some fun things this year. And obviously, it's a great story, right? Lawrence kid, guy that went and, quote-unquote, maybe paid his dues somewhere else and is back here now getting the chance to do it on the biggest stage. Man, the first half, some of the shots he's making, and even that one tough little floater he had when he tried to draw the foul from Davis, wasn't able to, and he makes that. Like, he's going to be a big-time player for K this year. I bet you he's going to start sooner rather than later. David Coit didn't bring a lot. You know, he was okay defensively pressuring the ball, but wasn't super consistent. I think Zeke, at some point, is going to be back in the starting lineup, and it may not be too long. That's how good he's going to be for KU this year. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Generally, like, I think a positive game. Bill Self hit on a post game. You'd much rather be in this position talking about, oh, you know, you won, but you could have done this better, you could have done this better. You'd much rather be in that spot than talking about it after a loss. And even then, a loss today wouldn't have been the end of the world. It wouldn't have meant anything really for KUC other than they lost a game and they've got stuff to learn. So those are some of my quick thoughts. Back at Arrowhead tomorrow. Busy time of year. Thanks as always for watching the videos. Make sure you're liking them. Subscribe to the channel. Drop comments. All that good stuff goes a long way to helping us reach a lot more people. Plenty of videos to come from football games, basketball games, you name it, we got it. So thanks always for tuning in. We'll talk to you all again in less than 24 hours. Let's get after it.